Hi,
Hi.
everybody.
Happy New Year. I know last time we saw you was last year.
Yes, it hasn't been a year, but feels like it. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be in a new year. 2023 still sounds strange to say. I'm pretty sure.
You know what? 2023. I think that's the first time I've said it. I think that's the first time. Because who do I say it to?
What, you don't talk out loud to yourself?
Never. Well, not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Okay.
Anyway, welcome everybody.
Welcome everybody.
Yeah, let us know if you can see us and hear us. Okay, I guess we should start off by saying we are a knitting podcast. And this is our Tuesday night Knit Chat Cafe. My name is Noelle, and
I'm Kelly.
Is my friend. Yeah, and we're coming to you from Southwestern Ontario, Canada. Where it's really awful weather right now.
Well, it's not awful weather.
Cold. Not cold, but you know what? I'd rather
very
have it
gray today.
Gray,
very gray,
cold, drizzly. Anyway, we can't change the weather, so no point complaining about it. But
that's right.
Welcome everybody to the Knit Chat Cafe. Like I said, this is our Tuesday evening, just kind of get together, talk about what we're working on, what we want to work on, what we bought, which I don't have anything.
That has to be a record.
That's
the first time.
Haven't bought anything yet this year. I don't think.
I've had twitchy fingers, but I have not acted on anything yet. We were talking about this at the coffee shop on Saturday. I said, I just feel that I behaved. I don't even know if I bought anything in December, or I bought very little if I did. And I have twitchy fingers.
I have plans for 2023 socks for everybody, but I don't have anything to show yet. So, but I thought I want to get them started early this year so that I do have them done and I'm not doing like 16 pairs of socks in December.
So there's lots of people in here from all over the place already.
Yeah, if you join us week after week, thanks for joining us. And if you're new,
welcome.
What happened there?
I don't know.
My screen flashed off. Anyway, if you're new, we hope you enjoy yourself. So there's a wonderful chat going on that's not even sometimes doesn't have anything to do with us. So if you've got any questions about knitting, someone in the chat will know the answer. So we encourage you to talk amongst yourselves. It's lovely to see that there's a chat going on in here before Kelly and I even get in here.
Absolutely.
And that everybody's getting to know each other. And it's just like if you went to the coffee shop with all your friends, a big coffee shop.
It's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. And if you are sitting on the sidelines, maybe you've watched an episode or two and you're just thinking, well, you're still a little shy. Don't be shy. Jump in, get into the conversation. There will be either us or somebody else that answers. And the only guidelines I have to say is that if you ask us a question and we miss it, just type it in again. We will eventually see it, or somebody in here who's been in here for a long time will let us know, and we'll make sure that we do our best to answer it. Or if we can't, then we'll certainly find somebody here in the group that knows. There's lots of experience in this group of people. Lots. Okay.
So we should probably start with admin because we have quite a few prizes to give out.
We have a lot. So everything that we had from the pajama party last week, I have quite a few of them packaged and ready to go. So if you were a winner and you're wondering where your goodies are, things are packaged and ready to ship. I'm waiting on just a couple of more things that I've got to pick up from Noelle's house, and then I can put the rest of the packages together.
So we had a few more to give away tonight.
We did have a few more to give away tonight. So I want to get everything together and make
because there were some people, like obviously everybody can't join us live, so we want to make sure that everybody gets included. So do you want to do those ones first?
Okay, let's start with those.
Okay, so these are from last week's pajama party. We had asked anybody that watched later or that was in the pajama party but just wanted to participate later, what was your first cast on for 2023 going to be? So, and there was lots of wonderful.
A few things made it into my list.
Yes.
Or maybe more than a few. There were some things that I hadn't heard of.
Well, someone had mentioned that iceberg sweater, and I've been looking at it. And it comes in both a light version and a heavier version. So I don't know. And there was lots of DRK socks. There were people that were knitting their first socks, people that are interested in knitting a sweater for the first time. And that's amazing. Like just, you know, it's just knitting. You can do it. Just get in there and cast it on. If it doesn't work out, you can rip it out. But the only way you're going to learn is by doing it. So anyway, so
Janice is asking, how do you know if you're a winner? So Janice, we did some live prizes on the show last week, and we announced the winners as we went through the evening. And then the 3 draws that Noelle's referring to were for comments after the fact.
Yes.
And we're going to show you some slides and let you know what you've won this week, if you were a lucky winner.
Okay, well, I think you have the Sandy bag, right?
Okay, I do. So let's start with that one.
Okay.
This is a beautiful, big Knits and Pieces bag from
Gorgeous
our friend
bag.
Sandy. She hand sews, or not hand sews them, she machine sews them, but they are gorgeous. And I particularly like the inside lining. It has a zippy pocket as well as a pouch pocket, but this lining is super cute. If you can see it up close, look at all the little sheep. Yeah. And they're ready. It looks like they're ready for winter. They've got hats and scarves and snow goggles on. It's so cute. And she has monogrammed Knits and Pieces across the front of the pouch pocket. Yeah. So this lucky winner, do you have the slide for that one?
I will, but I told you, you have to read the writing because it's too small for me to see without getting my double glasses.
Okay, so the winner of the Sandy bag is Tambra Archibald, and her comment is that she's going to cast on another Rift by Jared Flood for her husband using the Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in Storm Cloud colorway, which is gorgeous. She says, great episode, ladies, and that's Tammy from the Wool and Wine podcast. Cheers. So
Congratulations, Tammy, and we will let you know once we're through with these. We'll let you know how to get in
touch with us.
Okay, so the next item that was available for prizes last week was this skein of hand spun. This is called Warm Memories, and this is from On a Quest for Fiber, and it is 100% Cheviot, and there's probably about 110 grams here, and it's probably a sport to light DK weight.
It's so absolutely beautiful.
That one is,
and Noelle spun that. She didn't mention that. She spun
and
that
just
herself.
remember, I'm a relatively new spinner, so it's not perfect by any means.
And the winner of that is Susie, who is Vegas Golden Knits. And she says, I have loved becoming a part of this community. You are so friendly and welcoming. I have tons of fun, and I learn a bit at times as well. While I am still putting together my knitting plans for 2023, I am positive it will include a lot of socks. Thank you for everything this past year. You're very welcome, Susie, and thank you for participating.
That's right.
I'm just marking names down so I know where to send things.
Okay. And then the last prize that we had from last week's show, and I didn't have it at the time, but I did get it now. So it's this skein of, it's Mid-Knit Cravings. And this is their light sock. It's 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. Feels amazing. This color is gorgeous. It's called Adult Juice Box. And it does look like there's all sorts of different red wine just sprinkled all over it.
A little Merlot, a little Shiraz.
Little Cabernet. So the winner for this one is
Cindy Pierre. Congratulations, Cindy. She says that her first cast on will be a pair of shorty socks for a friend. So kind.
Nice.
So
that
kind.
Nice.
Happy New Year, and thanks for keeping us company and entertained. Thank you, Cindy, for joining in.
Okay, so congratulations to our winners. So I'll just pop this up here. So anybody that won a prize can email us at knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com. We need your full name if it's not in your profile that we showed on there. Anyways, just put in your full name and your mailing address so that we can get those prizes in the mail to you. Congratulations, and thank you everybody for participating. It was fun to go through, see what everybody's making, and there's going to be lots of wonderful projects to see this year. So.
And thank you for coming out to the pajama party. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun putting that together. And you know what's even more fun than us buying yarn for our own stashes or projects? It's getting gifts to give away. That's right. It's so much fun. It's as exciting for us to do the little challenges, I'm sure, as it is for some of the winners to get something. It's fun. It's just a lot of fun. So thank you for joining along on the podcast for the year too.
Yeah. And there was lots of comments too. It's exciting that lots of people were excited about the Burra cowl, and that was going to be their New Year's cast on. And and the other project, or the other cowl that we have going on right now, our sock one, is going to go again for the year. But we're also starting the Smash That Stash again and again and again
and again and again and again. So why don't we just go through that topic really quickly? And I just realized I wasn't our Makealongs.
Okay.
Since you brought it up, let's chat about it.
Well, we do have a Makealong that's just come to an end.
Well, no, we're going to do that after. Talk about the new ones first.
Okay. So our last year's sock along just came to an end, but we are starting another sock Makealong. So again, all you have to do is finish your socks and get them into the thread. I haven't set them up yet, but they will be set up. And again, we'll do the same as we did last year. Every month we'll have both a sock prize and a pattern prize. And Natalie has generously agreed to give prizes to the winners every month again this year. And Natalie, we appreciate that so much. Your patterns are gorgeous. And then we'll also, again, at the end of the year, have a grand prize.
Yes.
So this year we got up to 2,889 socks. So I think we can make it past 3,000 next year.
I think so. Yeah. We're not even going to say we're trying for 2,023 pairs. Let's put both feet into the pot and say, let's do it for 3,000.
Yeah.
And so if you were working on socks and you're like, oh, darn, I didn't get in on the 2022 sock along, don't despair. It doesn't matter when you started them. As Noelle said, just as you finish them, put them into the thread, and we'll draw some prizes every month. So this is the hash, and the hashtag is here along the bottom. If you want to show them off on Instagram as well, Noelle and I are both pretty active on Instagram. So that's where we get to see things as well.
Yep.
Okay. That's Makealong number 1.
That's right. Okay. So number 2, we're doing Smash That Stash again. And so all you have to do for the Smash That Stash is use yarn that you acquired prior to, on or before December 31st, 2022. So now what should we say? What should the percentage be?
Oh, you mean we didn't think this through?
No, we didn't. So I think it's got to be at least 75%, because we really want you to use your stash.
Yes.
Okay. So it's got to be at least 75% stash. But if you needed, like if you were doing a pair of socks and you needed like another color for a heel or toe or something, that would be fine. But basically, we really want you to use your stash. And just think, if you knit socks from stash, you can enter it in the Smash Your Stash
Double
cal,
dipper.
and you can enter it in the sock cal. So
yes,
that gives you more incentive to get in there and make those socks. And we are running that. We said we would run that for 3 months.
Yes. So
January,
January
to the end
to
of
March 31st. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then the third cal that we have going on, it's called the Burra cowl. We're doing it with lots of other podcast groups. There's 3-ply, Around the Table, Dude Knits, Frivolous and Frugal, Got Whips, Knits and Pieces. I think that's us. Magpie's Cottage. We should say that, because this is a Knit Chat Cafe. So in case somebody doesn't know, we are Knits and Pieces podcast.
Yes.
There's Magpie's Cottage, Pandemic Knitter, and PJ Knits. You can double dip in all the cows, but there might be slightly different rules in some of the other podcasts. For ours, we basically are just saying that you have to do a Marie Wallen pattern, or I believe we included Susan Crawford. So one of those two. And basically the cal's going to run for the whole year, because a lot of Marie Wallen's patterns and Susan Crawford's Fair Isle patterns are very involved. So it might take that long to do it. So it's going to run from January 1st until December the 31st.
Yes.
So, and if you've never tried, kind of like, it might be a challenge project for you. The cowl especially, you could do it in just 2 colors. You don't have to do it in all the colors that the pattern's in. And a 2-color cowl is probably a good way to get into color work, because the cowl is round. You're not having to worry about doing any increases or decreases. And she does have hat patterns too. Hats are often good before you delve into something like a big sweater or something.
That's right. And I was half paying attention. Did you mention that you could double dip into that as well if you are knitting the burr cowl from Stash? Okay.
Oh, yeah. So if you're doing it from Stash, or Marie Wallen does have some sock patterns. If you do Marie Wallen socks in Stash yarn, you can enter the sock along, the Marie Wallen along, and the
Smash That
Stash.
That's a triple dipper. Triple dipper.
Triple dipper. So
yes, this is the only place that double dipping is a good thing. No shame for a double dipper.
Her New Year's Eve cast on. Yes, we'll count New Year's Eve as long as it's from your stash.
Yes.
So
okay, and I have to share this comment. Thank you, Kim, for doing the math on this. That 2,888 pairs at 20,000 stitches per pair equals 57,760,000 stitches. My gosh, that's
amazing.
That's a boggling number. Thank you.
That's a lot of stitches.
Thank you, Kim. That's huge. That kind of puts things in perspective, doesn't it? Like that's a lot of knitting. That is just a lot of knitting.
So
thank you. All right.
Now we can move on to the sock
Now we can do the prizes from, oops. I've got
we'll do December 1st from December. So for December, we have both a pattern prize and a sock prize. Yes. So for December, the pattern prize winner is, it was Bob Start on Ravelry, and her name is Barbara. And she knit these beautiful pair of socks with, it looks like West Yorkshire Spinner's yarn.
It does.
I think it looks like the Robin colorway. I could be wrong, but it kind of looks like that. And so, Barb, you have won a pattern from Natalie. So again, if you can get in touch with us, we will get you that pattern. You can go through and see Natalie's patterns and choose one, and you can knit another pair of socks to enter again.
Natalie has some new patterns too. She does. One that's out already, I believe. And then she's got another one that's coming out this month that I'm going to talk about later because it was my New Year's cast on.
Okay. So Kelly, I think you have the yarn prize.
I have the yarn. So this is local dyers to us. This is the Out of Control sock yarn, Out of Control spinners. And they have dyed this. And I thought this was really nice. It kind of still is some pretty Christmassy colors. It's a corally orange and a nice green. And they have dyed them together so that if you start at the same spot, you're going to have a matching pair of socks. So this is local Ontario dyers. It's really pretty and it's really, really soft. And there's 200 yards. Yes, 50 gram skeins. So there you go.
200 yards in each one.
Each skein is approximately 200 yards per 50 grams. Yeah, so 400 yards. Very nice. It's really soft and squishy too.
Okay, so the winner for the December sock yarn is Kloska Knits, who is Kloska. Yay, Kloska. And look at this. Kloska's, that was her last pair of socks in 2022. So that was, we went up to 2889 and Kloska's entry was 2883. So just goes to show you, just get those things in there.
That's right. You never know. I like the colorway that she's used too. That's really nice.
Yep.
They look like the DRK socks.
That's what I was going to say, that it looks kind of like the DRK socks, or it's a ribbed sock anyway.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Very nice.
Okay. So now we move on to the grand prize winner for the whole year.
For the whole year.
You have like a drum roll.
I know. It's such a beautiful prize. I've looked at this all year. It's been sitting here in my studio. I don't want to give it away, but give it away I must. And it was a lovely donation from the ladies, Jessica and Allison at Full Moon Fibers. And
it's gorgeous.
It's Jessica.
Jessica Henry Designs.
Yes, J. Henry Designs. And she makes the bags and then they dye together, I think. So this is this beautiful bag. I think it's called the Birds of Paradise.
Yeah.
Or Birds in Paradise. And then look at this yarn that's going to go with it. It has 2 minis. It's absolutely stunning. If you have not knit anything yet with Full Moon Fibers, get yourself there. Give yourself a little treat. They have beautiful, beautiful products.
Yeah,
and
gorgeous.
Aside from that, they're just the nicest people ever. They are so sweet. And their mom's really sweet too. Okay, So this is
Okay,
their
so
offering. Drum roll.
The grand prize winner is, did I pull up the right one?
Yes,
I did. Okay. So it is Crafty Berry, and her name is Anne. And as you can see there, that was entry number 256. So the more socks that you get in there, the more chances that you have to win. But Anne, right, you're our grand prize winner for 2022. And it looks like a self-striping.
It does. It's really pretty.
It is a very pretty yarn.
Very pretty.
Gorgeous socks. So congratulations, Anne. We should have did confetti. Of course, I can never find it. There we go. Oops. You're turning it on and I'm turning it off.
There we go.
There's congratulations for all of our winners. And again, to get in contact with us.
We're not done yet.
We're not done yet?
We're not done yet.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot we had another.
At some point tonight, we're going to get everything. We are going to get to knitting. I know the prize shelves are going to be empty after between the party last week and tonight. The prize shelves will be empty. We'll have to start looking for goodies again. But anyway, we had another make along that came to an end, and it was also a 3-month make along. And I hope I'm remembering everything in it correctly. But it was called our Holst Along, and what were the guidelines in it now? I just know that it had to be Holst.
You had to use Holst yarn. You could hold it with something. You could make whatever you wanted, but you were to incorporate at least one Holst yarn into the project.
Right. Okay. And you had 3 months to do so. And we had 65 entries in there, and they ranged anywhere from, I saw hand warmers, I saw hats, cowls, scarves,
some Sophie scarves,
sweaters. There were some Sophie scarves. Yes.
Yep.
So many projects in there, all of them beautiful. And the winner for that, let me just find the winner, is a beautiful sweater too.
It is a gorgeous sweater.
José Dompierre. And I looked it up because I had to see what the sweater was. I thought it was so pretty. The sweater is called the Groove Sweater. Night Groove Sweater. Okay. And she knit that in Coast, and the colorways are Plum and Verity. It is
very pretty.
Absolutely beautiful. That's a sweater I would love to wear. I love those colors. I bet you like them too, Noelle.
I do like those colors.
So beautiful. And so, José, you have won a $50 gift card to Holst.
Canadian. So whatever that equates to in Danish
Denmark
krona.
Denmark krona. In Denmark money, yes. So now we can say if you were a winner.
Okay. If you were a winner, you can contact us at knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com with all of your information, and we will make sure that your prize gets to you.
Absolutely.
Okay. And congratulations, everybody.
Joining in.
Thank you, everyone, for participating. We love going through and seeing everything. It gives us so many ideas, more things that we want to cast on. And we know that a lot of people bought Holst yarn this year, and I hope you're enjoying using it. I've got a project that I'll show here later on that I've started again with my Holst.
Me too.
So, okay.
Me too. And thank you to all of the people that very generously support the podcast by donating prizes as well. Yeah. That's awesome. Really awesome.
So,
okay. So now we are at 24 minutes.
We haven't even talked about knitting.
Let's talk about what we're wearing, and then let's get to some knitting.
Okay. Well, I'll go. I'm wearing my Miserina by Caitlin Hunter. It is done in Patagonia, Juniper Moon Farms, Patagonia. I can't remember what the colorway is. It's natural or ivory or something like that. It's on, again, I'll put it in the show notes, and it's on my project page. The contrast color is a yarn that I spun using a fiber from Yara Fibers that was a merino silk blend in kind of like a bronzy green goldy kind of colorway. So that's what I'm wearing. And I've worn it before. I can't say how much both Kelly and I love knitting this sweater. It was such a fun knit. Has so many things to keep you interested. It's got the cables going down here, your color work. It's got a little bit of lace up here. And then even the body of the sweater itself has a little bit of a textured stitch in it. Yeah.
And the really funny thing is tonight when I went upstairs to get ready, I thought, what do I want to wear tonight? And I looked at that. I had my Miserina sweater in my hand. That would have been hilarious if we pulled out the same sweater tonight to wear, but I did not. I wore something else. I'll throw some hair back so people can see it. And this is the Kutar tee by Sari Nordland. I knit this in Holst yarn, and this is Coast held together with Titicaca, and this one is called Red Current, the Coast, and this one I think is Rose Bay. I love this sweater. Love the sweater. It's very, I made it quite cropped. You can't see how cropped it is. It's pretty cropped, but I made it because normally I would wear this with a dress. And tonight it's just on with a t-shirt, and I have leggings on in the bottom, and they're not even a color that matches. But anyway, you can't see that, so it doesn't matter. But I love this sweater. It has beautiful lace work in the yoke. I love the fabric that these two yarns create. This is probably one of my favorite sweater combinations here. This is also the same yarn that I used when I made my ranunculus, and I can't speak enough about how much I like the way it feels and the fabric that it creates. She also has socks in this. I think she has a cardigan. And
okay, she's got a tank top as well in that pattern. Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'll ever get around to knitting anything else in this pattern, but I really like this one. I love the way the lace bloomed in the yoke. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to knit. So, okay. So that's me.
Okay. And that's me. I said I was wearing someone go back here. Helen said she made 59 projects in 2022.
I didn't count mine up. I should have.
I did.
Did you?
I don't know how many it was in total. I just had it by how many of each. But anyway, because I see there's a lot of podcasts out there doing everything I knit in 2022, but we've already told you what we knit. We share it with you every week.
That's right.
So anyway, so we should get on to if we finished anything lately. Do you have any finishes?
No. Okay. A short answer, no. Okay. If I would stop casting more things on, I might have a finish. I'm going to hold myself to a finish for next week. How about that?
Okay. Last week, because of the pajama party, I actually forgot. I said I was going to show the lamina cowl. Yes. Because I've only ever showed the pictures in black and white, because until the Advent was over, I couldn't show the pictures in color. So I'm going to show you the pictures in color. So this is the Lamina cowl by Amber O'Brien. Let me just put okay. And this is done in Leo and Roxy's Advent 2022. It's their 80/20 sock yarn. So the whole scheme was you got one whole skein of the solid cut. Well, it wasn't a solid, it was a tonal. And that's the color that you see in between all of the little lace sections. And that color is Pebble. And then all the other colors were done from, I think the inspiration was chicken eggs. So they're all different colors. It's absolutely gorgeous. Like the colors were just spectacular. I've got another picture here. Let me see. Doesn't want to come off. There we go. There. So that just shows kind of like a little bit more. You can see some of the difference in the colors. The wrap or the cowl, you can do a cowl or wrap in this pattern, was really fun to knit because you didn't get bored, because once you've done one section, you were switching to another color. So that's got all 24 colors in it, plus the skein of the Pebble. And there would be enough, other than getting another main skein, there would be enough left over from your Advent to knit another whole cowl or another project. But the colors, I hope they do some of the colors just as
I was just thinking that. I hope that
colors, because they're gorgeous.
They are all beautiful. There wasn't a color in there that I wouldn't like to knit with.
No,
they were all beautiful.
Okay, so I just wanted to show you it with all the colors. It was like the colors, there's so many colors in it, but yet they were all kind of
And they were 20-gram minis, correct?
Yes.
Yes, 20
kind of nature like colors. Like they weren't really like, even though it was a lot of color, it wasn't like in your face color.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think you could end up wearing it with a lot of different things. So anyway.
I'm just reading here people's accomplishments for the year.
Okay.
Sarah said she completed 45 projects. Marianne made 17 sweaters. Wow, that's a lot of knitting. That's an impressive number. Mm-hmm. Someone else mentioned that it's the quality, not the quantity. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Because I don't have very much knitting time in my day. And so I definitely don't have vast numbers of projects, but I enjoyed making all of the projects. So for me, that's a win. That's totally a win. And I've always got a long list of other plans that I want to make. If I could knit as fast as my brain could think, I'd have a lot of knits, but
you know what? It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter because no matter how much you knit, you always want to knit more.
There would be other projects that you would see.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. So, okay. So that was one finish. Okay. So next
we're not coordinated tonight.
We're not. No, we're not. Is I finished the bear paw socks. So those are the bear paw socks by Andrea Mowry. And I'm pretty sure there's a banner for that.
Oh, I'll look.
You'll look. Okay. So these are done in Rico Yarns. What was this called? Something Wave. I can't remember. It's going to be in the show notes. But anyways, it's a DK weight yarn. It's a new yarn that Little Red Mitten is carrying. So it comes in 150 gram. It's already caked up. You don't even have to roll it. Like it already comes ready to start knitting. Ready to start knitting. The bear paw sock basically is it's basically like her DRK sock, except it's in a DK weight, so it does knit up a whole lot faster. The 2x2 rib is really good because I find that it fits a lot more people because it kind of can stretch out or it can kind of like cinch in. Mm-hmm. This does have like a Flegel heel where you're knitting up. The heel is really neat the way she's got it incorporated into the rib. This was, like I said, I've got enough. There was enough yarn left because I actually waited. There was enough yarn left that you could almost get 2 full pairs out of one skein. The second pair would have to be slightly smaller, but you could definitely get like an adult pair and a kid's pair, or this pair and then maybe a pair of shorties. And it does come in a lot of other colors too.
And I don't remember
Skywave. The price was Skywave.
Oh, sorry. I don't remember what the price was, but I do remember that it was incredibly budget friendly. And if you can get
$25.
25. And if you can get 2 pairs of socks.
But you can get 2 pairs and it's DK. So it is a pair that knits up fast. So that's a sample that I will be taking to them probably next week. So,
and the nice thing about that style of sock, both the DRK Everyday and the Bear Paw, is that it's toe up construction. So if you are running a little short on yarn, you can like weigh when you start.
You can make the leg a little shorter.
You could do the leg a little shorter, or you could just do a contrasting end of sock cuff to make sure that you use all of the yarn. If you just think you couldn't quite get a second pair out, it would be fun to put a little striping sequence in there just to stretch out your yarn a little bit further.
Yep. Okay. So last week I had showed this hat, right? So this is the Flicker and Flame. And this one was done. This is a DK to Aran weight. This is done in Julie Aslan's Nurtured, is the kind of the gray blue color. And then Noro Silk Garden is the kind of the variegated color. But this pattern also comes in a DK weight. And another sample that I was asked to do was in the DK weight. So this is in DK, and you can see you get like, you've got a little bit more in here. So you get a little bit slouchier of a hat, but this is still the Flicker and Flame. So in this one, this main color here is Kelborn Woolen Scout, which is like a sport to a DK weight. And then this contrast that goes through it is Noro Silk Garden Sock. And the Silk Garden Sock is really almost more like a sport weight. But I mean, the color is just, I just love it. And
I love it.
Like that's one thing with the Noro yarns. You really have a hard time from the ball knowing what it's really going to look like. But it works really well in a pattern like this because you kind of get those long, very
longer color.
Color run. Yep. Now, one question that someone had asked this past week, and it was talking about the flicker and flame, was about budget friendly options, because I believe her pattern calls for spin cycle. So the Silk Garden sock is definitely less expensive, but I mean, I only used, I think, less than 20 grams of it, and it comes in a 100-gram ball, but then you would have lots left over to do more in it. And same with this, I have enough left in the Scout to actually do another hat. So other budget friendly options, basically any kind of yarn that's sort of got a long color run in it, you could put in here and it would look good. So you could use the Shopple Wool Edition 3, and it does come in 50-gram balls. I don't know, someone was talking about that Yarn Hero, which is kind of something that's similar to Spin Cycle. Well, you could also use as one of the Croy yarns, I think you could use in here, because the Croy is a little bit thicker. So I think you could hold it with something like the Scout, and you could do a flicker and flame with that.
There's also Knit Picks Chroma. Okay. Is a gradient color. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit longer of gradient, so I don't know quite how well it would work, but I do know that it's a gradient, so you don't have definitive lines between, and that's a really budget friendly yarn for sure. So.
But really, I think what you're looking for to get the fact is something that's got kind of long color runs in it. So, but again, like the Noro, and especially if you're doing this weight, the Silk Garden itself does come in 50-gram balls instead of 100-gram balls. When you go up to the sock, it's 100 grams, but these do come in 50-gram balls. And you would get, like, out of one skein, you could get 2 hats, and they would look different because their whole color sequence is quite long. So
very nice.
Okay. So I have one more finished object.
Okay.
So, and there's a story.
There's always a story. So cute.
This is the Friday Sweater Baby by Petite Knit. Okay, so I had this sweater all finished. And when I did it, how you start it is you cast on, you do the neck, you do a purl row in the middle, and you fold it over. And instead of sewing it down, which is what I normally do, tack it down, it had you knit your stitch together with the cast on edge. So it was totally attached, which looks very nice. But this is what I've got a whole series of pictures here to show you what happened with this. Okay, so when I finished it, and I thought it would block out, okay, and that's the wrong picture. Where's my picture? Is this it? No.
I'd help you out, but I don't know which one you're looking for. Sorry.
I know. I thought it was number 1, but that's not it. Definitely not it. Okay, well, it took it out. Well, what happened was when I was finished, the whole neckband was slanted. It was like slanting in one direction, and I did not like it at all. I couldn't live with it. I couldn't. This is a sample for Little Red Mitten, and I thought, I am not putting that in there. I cannot live with the way that looks. So because, of course, this makes it more difficult because this whole thing was done and all attached, and it was top down. Well, I wasn't going to go back here and rip everything out back this way. So what I did was, and here's this picture. Okay, I cut it. I cut the neckband off. So, and it's a lot harder when you've knit top down and you're going back up. But I just thought, well, you know what? I can't live with it. So I have to cut it off. So I cut it into the 2 pieces. Then I unraveled the whole neck there, and that's what it looked like because it was so the knit was so tight. I did twisted ribs, so I unrolled it all, and this is the one here. So I had to go through and I had to pick up all the stitches, and I was about 1 row down into the start of the raglan, so I had to go through and I was doing increases going this way, but I had to go back up and do decreases to get back to the size of the neckline. So then because that yarn looked like this, I thought, well, I'm not going to knit with that. It's going to make the neckband look terrible. And I didn't have any yarn left. I only had a tiny bit of yarn left. So I put it all in a skein and I washed it and got it like this. This little wee mini skein. Okay. And then I knit it all again. And so that cast on, okay, so I did it up. I did my purl bridge, and that, okay, I was going to point to it with my mouse, but of course I can't. But you can see how the cast off edge is like, it looks terrible. It looks, but that's the yarn over cast off, which is the loosest bind off that you can do. And I thought, well, I'm going to do that because babies' heads are big. And then I sewed it all, once I tacked it all down, and this time it's tacked down. Like the inside here does not look as nicely finished as when it was folded over and it was knit together.
But you've got some stretch.
But it's much more serviceable. And after doing all that, that is the amount of yarn I had left out of that one ball.
Oh my gosh.
So here's the finished, and there's the finished neckband. And you can see from this side, it looks fine. So even though, and it's got.
Well, remember when we were at the coffee shop and we were looking at that, a few of us made a comment that it seemed that was going to be a snug fit over a baby head.
Well, since I couldn't stand the way that the stitches had all slanted to whichever way, I thought, well, I have to do something. And I thought, well, I'm going to make sure it does fit by doing it loose enough to. Yeah. And apparently that was a comment that people had made on this pattern, was that the neck seemed really tight for a baby. So this is done in Sand and Scarn Petite Knit Sunday.
Yes.
And these colors are, I can't remember what the cream is, just a natural, but it does have a color. But the orange is called that orange feeling. And so the orange, I really only used 17 grams of it, but I used the full 50 gram ball of the cream color. Mm-hmm. And this is the size 1 to 2 months. And it is, I just love it. It feels like, and you haven't felt it like blocked. It's just the squishiness of the yarn. And you can see how it looks a little bit bigger than it did. So it does open up in the rib once you block it. And I would love to do this pattern for me. I love how the stripes go into the
You say that about every sweater that you knit for the kids. You go, oh, I'd really like that for me.
Anyway, so there you go. Even if you get done something and the neck's wrong, and you were doing a top down, you can still go in and fix it.
You can still fix it. Everything is
fixable.
Still
go in and fix it. Yeah.
Mindy says that she only sews in her fold over necklines because she said that in her experience, it always gets slanted when you knit it like that. So,
well, you know what? Like my instinct was I should sew it down because that's what I always do. But because it was a sample knit and I wanted to do it the way the pattern said,
yes.
I thought, no, I'm going to do it the way the pattern says, but I should have just followed my instinct.
There you
go.
But
I didn't. So, okay. So that's all of my finished objects.
Okay. And I just wanted to go back to something quickly because, I guess I didn't I lost the picture of my finished project, but a couple of weeks ago, for heaven's sakes, now I've also lost that picture. I didn't do very well here tonight. I thought I had things in place. Isn't that strange? Well, okay. You're just going to get one view. I thought I had another one. I had finished the antler hat and mittens for Miles, and Kendall sent me this picture of him out and about for a little walk around town in his antler hat. And I just can't get over the cuteness of this picture. I know he's my grandson, but my gosh, that's so stinking cute. Look at the little determined face. And he's only just learned to walk in the last few weeks. So he just has this look on his face that now says, I walk everywhere. From here on out, I walk everywhere. And she sent me another picture where she could get a better view of the hat. I thought I had added it in here. Apparently I didn't. I don't know what I did. I just don't know where it went. Oh, this one I can add maybe. I'll just refresh your memory of what the hat looked like if it uploads here quick enough. Sorry. There we go. So that's what the hat was. Yeah, cute. And the pom-pom is detachable and he had the little mitts to match. So happy to see him out on the town wearing that. Super cute. Okay.
So what are you working on?
A lot of things. That's what I'm working on. I'm marking down. Sorry. Because this isn't the pajama party, people. I have to go back to Timecodes tonight now.
I have to do show notes.
Yeah. I know a few people said he's so adorable. Isn't he, though? I'm sorry. I know he is. He's just super cute. Okay. Did I show a completed Sooty Santa sock last week, or did I just show one still on needles? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Okay. Well, I'll show it again. So I finished one. There we go. And nice. This is the This is the self-striping yarn that Heather from Timber Yarns dyes, and this is called Sooty Santa. I love this colorway, and she sent it along with 2 minis. So this one is licorice, and I still have a red mini. I have enough left. So here's my plan. I have enough left that I'm going to do another pair of socks after this. So I've not wound this one up, but I had in the 50 grams, I think I have about 22 grams left of the Sooty Santa. So I used 30 for this full sock. And this one's a little bit longer than I would normally make too. So what I plan to do, each of these stripes are about 10 rows. I am going to split that up into 5 rows, and then I will interject just 2 or 3 rows of the licorice. So it's going to be an offset stripe. And then I'll use the red for the heels and toes. So I'll end up with 2 pairs out of that. And this is using the Shadow Wrap heel. And I know you use that one all the time, but this was the first time for me. And what I like about this, it's identical on either side. I used to make the German short row heel, but one side is always just a little bit different. This is my new fun heel. And it was just fun. It was a different technique. It was fun to do. So that's whip number 1. What have you got going on?
Okay, so I started a pair of socks because I finished the bear paw ones and I have to have socks on the go. So I started another pair of DRK everyday socks.
I get why people are knitting that pattern over and over again.
I you know what? I don't mind knitting the rib at all. Like I really don't.
It took me a bit, but I like them.
So this is a yarn that I got from Wool and Silk in Shelburne. And it's a Prolana yarn. It's Prolana Golden Sock Stretch Atna. So it actually has some stretch in it, which I thought would be really good for these socks. But you can see it's just that pattern where every once in a while you just get like a little something, stripe of color, and I really like it. And so the color kind of almost fades. It's like a peachy and a corally and a little bit lavender, and I just really liked it. So I think it's going to be a nice sock done up, and I just like to have a pair that I've got in my purse that I can take wherever. So again, I don't have a pair of the DRK. Any that I've done so far have been gifts. So these ones are going to be for me. So that's one thing that I started. And I started that. When did I start that? Yesterday.
Okay. So I had, this was my Christmas Eve cast on. And this was my New Year's Day cast on. So I like the concept of Advent socks, but I do not think I am a person who can commit to getting the band knit every day during the month of December, which would just leave me disappointed on December 24th when I didn't have a completed pair of socks. So I've said this for a few years now, and I've never followed through. And then Noelle shamed me at the coffee shop and said that I wouldn't follow through this year. So,
I did not say you wouldn't follow through. I just patted you on the back.
And I think there was an eye roll at the same time. So this time I am going to follow through, and this is what I cast on. So let me show you what I'm working on. This is a pattern by our friend Natalie, and it is called the Merry and Bright Sock. And let me just pull up the banner. So there we go. So Natalie Sheldon. And my goal here is to do just a band each month. Okay. So I have already done the cuffs and the first band. And I pointed this out in my stories yesterday that the first band, so it's just a series of words, and the first band is wonder. And I think that was fitting for me for New Year's Day, because I wonder what the socks will look like. I wonder what 2023 will look like. Hopefully better than 2022. And I also jokingly said, I wonder how I got such a nice friend as Natalie, because she's lovely. So I'll show this off. So I'm using the Kestrel by Knit Picks, which is Glimmer. You see the sparkle a little bit?
Is that the color?
Yes, it's called Kestrel.
Okay, but it's Stroll.
Stroll.
Sock
It's
yarn?
Stroll,
Okay.
but it's called
Okay.
Kestrel, but it's a glimmer. So that's going to be my cuff, heels, and toes. And then I'm going to honor Julia in the socks, and this is going to be jewel tones. Is that an eye roll again?
I did not roll my eyes.
Okay, so I have the cuffs done, and I have the first word. And as I said, the word is wonder. It's on a 9-inch circular. Sorry, people. But look at that. And then at the back of the leg and the side, you get this lovely little pattern too. So this was also a Knit Pick Stroll. Don't remember the color. I'm going to try to be diligent and put them in my Ravelry page. And this is Marshmallow. What was the company that discontinued Marshmallow?
Lion Brand Sockies.
Yes, Sockies. So January's done for me.
Well,
I'll check
Kelly,
in. I'll hold myself.
If you only do one stripe a month, you're only going to have one sock.
No. I've got 2 socks done. There are 2 socks.
Oh, there's 2 of them?
Yes, there's 2. The other one's upstairs. I have to move this. I've got to put them onto holding needles because I use my 9-inch circulars. So, yes. So, okay, next month I'll show you both socks together in February because you still sound like a little bit of a doubting Thomas there. But
I'm not. I just didn't. I've only ever seen one sock. So,
well, yeah, you have. There you go. It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
It's nice.
Okay. So. Now that pattern was part of a partnership that she did with Legacy Fiber Arts for their Christmas Advent. So it's not available yet on Ravelry, but she told me that it will be available. It will be released to the public in January at some point. Okay.
Okay.
Next for you.
Okay. So my next project is another hat. And this is the Bumble hat by Tin Can Knits.
Oh, fun.
So it's a broken rib pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And this is done again. The purpley color is Calborn Woolen Scout. And I think that's called Plum Heather. And then all this color changing is Shoppo Wool Edition 3. Very
nice.
So
I like those colors.
This texture feels really nice. It's kind of like it's a broken rib, but there's slip stitches in there. And this is an adult small medium, but the pattern, like all Tin Can Knits patterns, the pattern goes down right to infant and goes like to a large adult. So again, really cute way to use like one of your color changing yarns. And this was one of the ones that I was talking about that would work well in the Flicker and Flame hat as well. So, and that again is another sample for Little Red Mitten.
Very nice. Majo is asking if I find it difficult to knit color work on 9-inch circulars. I do not.
That's all I knit. If I'm doing color work sock, that's the only time I use a 9-inch circular for.
Well, this is my preferred needle for all socks now, but it's definitely preferable. I find I can really stretch out my stitches. And I mean, if you find it's tricky, one of the things, like you can flip it.
And do it inside out.
And you can knit it inside out. So you're still knitting on the inside of your stitches on the right side, but you're carrying the yarn to the outside. And then that would give you the ability to keep your floats nice and loose. But I'm finding I don't have an issue. It's okay.
And plus on the 9-inch, you don't have to worry about where you're joining. Like if you're doing it on double points or if you're doing it on a circular or 2 circulars,
sometimes you get laddering.
It's a little bit tricky when you're going to join and you've got to still carry that yarn around. It's a lot easier if you're just on a 9-inch circular. So Nick had asked back about the yarn that I was doing, the pinkish colored yarn. This is the yarn here. It's a Pro Lana yarn and it's called Atna. So
okay. And Lena's asking what brand are my needles. This one is a Chagu. And this one, because it's color work, she recommends you go up to a 2.5 or a 2.75. So I'm at a 2.5. And I have 9-inch circulars in a few brands, quite a few brands. My favorite, because normally I use a 2.25 for all of my socks.
Yep.
Except for color work. My favorite one is the Haya Haya Steel. So this is a 2.5, so it's completely fine. But the Chaogu 2.25s, I do find a little sharp for me because I still push with my finger, and I haven't yet this year, but I do get finger punctures. And then I know that there's a higher super sharp or higher sharps. That I have one of those. It's a little sharp for me too. I will use it as a backup, but it's not my favorite. And then I also have wooden ones by, is it C Knits that we got?
Yes.
And I like that.
Find the wood's okay. I find it, I like a sharp point, and it's just not sharp enough. So.
Yeah. And Judy, I knit English style normally, but when I'm doing color work, I knit English and continental. I have a strand that I carry in each hand. So that's my preferred method. Okay. Are you working on anything else? Because I am. I'm working on so many things because I can't finish anything.
Started my burra cowl. So burra cowl is what we've got going on with the Marie Wallin. So I've started mine, and I'm doing mine in Holst Super Soft, and I've already made modifications. So she tells you to just cast on. Well, I didn't want to just cast on because I want to do a Kitchener stitch at the end to graft it. I don't want to sew it together. So I just did a provisional cast on. That's this very last green down at the end is a provisional cast on with the green yarn. And at the end, I will take that out and I will graft it together, because where it will end, we'll have this same color here. So this is done. I just went to my Holst yarn stash and it's beautiful. Laid it all out on the bed and picked out colors. So I kind of looked at what the Marie Wallin colors were, and I didn't have the same colors, but I kind of like thought, okay, this is similar. So I did that first. And then I looked at it and I thought, okay, no, I think I want to switch this one for this and switch this one for that.
It's so pretty.
Until I came up with a combination that I liked. And then I am following the chart, but I'm not necessarily putting the colors where she says to put the colors. So I'm almost done. I've got, I think it's 41 rows, and I think there's 60 or 65 rows in the full repeat. There's this motif here, and then there's one more motif, and then you repeat. So I think that I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do it long enough, as long as I've got enough yarn. And I think some of the colors that I'm short of, Kelly has. Like oatmeal. You have oatmeal, right?
Yes, I have oatmeal.
And I, you know what? I probably have lots, but just in case, there's a few that I don't have full cakes for, but I'm sure
that's still a cone of oatmeal, and I've already made projects out of it. So yeah.
So I'm really happy with it. I am sewing in my ends as I go along. Like after I do so much a day's work, then I sew them in, so I won't have it all to do at the end. I have kind of just took the iron and kind of steamed this a little bit so you could get a better idea of how it looks. I'm doing it on a 16-inch circular. I'm on a 3mm needle, and I love doing color
this is a perfect project if somebody wants to do color work and you want something that it's nice because it's consistent. So it fits on a 16-inch needle. You're not having to change stitches, like increasing stitches or decreasing stitches for a yoke. It's a nice way to work on your steadiness for your color work, because it is just like that perfect size project that's not too big. And it's just, you're going to keep knitting. I don't know. I'm not a huge cowl fan, but I really like it. Maybe.
I can't say how the super soft colors seem to go together. So, because if you take any one color and you look at it, there's little bits and flecks of other colors in it. And the thing is, when you're doing this, if I put two colors together and I don't like it or I don't think it looks good, I can take it out and put in another color, right? And I really did like the colors that Marie Wallin had in hers, but I didn't want to buy. I'm going to say this and everybody's going to laugh, but I really want to try and not buy a whole lot of yarn this year, because I really have a lot of.
You do.
And that just goes to show it right there. I have gorgeous colors and gorgeous yarn in my stash. So
how many, Gail wants to know how many colors are in the burra.
Okay. The burra cowl, Marie Wallin's pattern has 11. I've got 12. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just pulled out the colors I want, and I'm just kind of putting them in where I think they need to be. And if I get to a part and I think, oh, I should have maybe something a little different for that, then I'll go and look. But that's the joy of having all the colors that I've got, right? You can kind of go and I mean, obviously when you get the kit, it's already curated that the colors go well together.
Yeah.
Like if you buy a kit, but it's kind of fun putting together your own colors too.
It is. And Anita's asking, you're holding that single strand as well, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes. Because basically, because it's all over color work, even though it's single strand, basically your fabric is double stranded, plus the cowl is like double, right? So it would be pretty heavy if you had a heavier weight of yarn in there. So, but I do hope that I have enough to do it long enough to do a double wrap cowl. So
very nice.
So that's what I started. And so I saw a lot of people. I'm really excited to see everybody's burr cowl.
There's a few being cast on. I saw Julia's colors. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. So pretty. Okay. So I picked up again from a little nudge. Noelle was asking me last week, she goes, how's that cozy classic raglan coming along? Well, it hadn't been coming along because I hadn't touched it. So I picked it up and I was probably only to, I don't know, maybe about here when I put it down. So this weekend I finished the yoke. I'm down to the sleeves. I have split for sleeves. As you can see, they're on my pony cord and I have about 1.5 inches done on the body. This is going along really quickly. And you know what? I'm all this way into the sweater. This is what I still have. I still haven't used a full skein. Gosh, that yellow blows out.
I know it goes far. That yarn goes far.
Yeah. So I still have, you know, this little bit of my marled 100 gram skein. And then I'm still into the mohair. So I'm making headway. I'm making some serious headway. It's very,
that looks good.
So it doesn't lie. It's cozy for sure. It's cozy. And it's got this really pretty stitch, just a very simple little detail here that you can see, almost like it's a lifted stitch that you do, a right, then a left lifted stitch. So you get just that. It's just a very simple detail on the sweater, but I really like it. And this is yarn by Leo and Roxy, both the marled, which is called Straw into Gold, and the mohair, which is Noelle's favorite, Butter. It's actually called Butter. Yes, it is. It doesn't feel like butter, but oh gosh.
It's the color of butter.
It feels so soft. I cannot wait to get this done. So maybe I'll be a little bit more active on it. Having said that, I cast on something else last night. But do you have something else?
No, I haven't cast on anything else. Nope.
Okay. So here's what I cast on last night. So this is a baby project. I'm barely cast on. I'll show you what I've cast on though. I started and sorry for the banging. I'm putting things on the table. I hope it's not too loud in ears. I cast on this. It's called Beneath the Waves vest. I've been planning this one for a while. Just finally got around to doing it. And I did have a banner for it. There we go. So it's called Beneath the Waves by Joanna Kunin, I think is how you pronounce her name. I'm surprised making a crop because that's just what I like to do. And I am using the Holst Coast in cinnamon and the Titicaca in, I don't know what, I don't remember. And I don't have a ball band near me, but it's pretty darn close. As you can see, I have a shirt that has colors that are going to go great with that. So I just cast it on last night. It was a tubular cast on, not my favorite thing to do. So this is all I have done, really nothing at all. So I have to do this for 2.5 inches and then I get into the fun part, but this is a really pretty color. I've been looking at this one for a while. I cannot wait. So that was last night's cast on.
So Kathy had asked, that's what you're using too. She had asked what weight is super soft held double with Titicaca.
It's a DK.
It depends. Yeah, I would say a DK. And of course, the tension that you get depends on what size of needles you put it on. Because I believe people have used it for like a ranunculus or a love note and put it on a larger needle. But then you get a more loose, open fabric. But basically, a love note calls for a DK weight yarn.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, I love using Titicaca with both the Coast and the Super Soft. It's not mohair, but like it has a loft. There's still a loft. This is 100% baby fine alpaca. And I don't know, I really like it. I will say, you know, to knit with, I like it better to use the Coast because the Coast is much softer than the Super Soft. But when the project is done and blocked out, I'm good with the Super Soft. Yeah.
And someone had asked too if they were doing a first color work project. As far as a good tutorial, I probably go to the same people all the time for tutorials, and that's probably Very Pink Knits, Suzanne Bryan, Chili Dog Knits is good. And I would say for a first color work project, like something actually like this Flicker and Flame hat would actually be really good because you're only using 2 colors. Like the yarn here actually does the work for you because it changes colors. There's relatively no long floats in this. Like they're all pretty manageable size floats. And you don't get into the decreases basically until you're done the color work. So something like this would be a really easy first project. And it's not very big or overwhelming. And it's not in a really super fine yarn. Like you probably don't want to start for your first project doing something that's really fine yarn or socks or something that's on a really small circumference. But something like this you can have like on a 16-inch needle. So it's easy to manage the stitches around. So either you could do something like that or a cowl.
Yeah. Tin Can Knits has some really nice color work hats as well. And of course, we've mentioned this before, but the benefit of buying a Tin Can Knit pattern is that it goes in sizes all the way from baby up to adult. So again, it's very good value for your pattern dollars to make that, stretch that pattern out.
Right.
Yeah.
And Darcy had said she wanted to cast on a color work vest, but she doesn't have a lot of stash. So she'd have to use fewer colors. When you get a color work pattern, like even though the designer calls for a whole lot of colors, you can choose to do it just in a background color and a contrast color if you want, or like pair them down. Just like if the designer called for only 2 colors, you could actually extend that and put in more colors. So you kind of need to you can look at the graph just as sort of a guide, but you know, just because the pattern calls for a whole lot of different colors doesn't mean you necessarily have to do it in all that many colors. So, and a lot of times what you can do too, if you want to get a similar effect, is use a plain background color and use either a variegated or a gradient color for the second color. And then you're still only using 2 yarns, but you're going to get a really nice effect just by using the variegated or the gradiated yarn.
Absolutely.
So,
well, I like to use like gradiated yarns look really nice in sweater yokes too. Like for instance, the yoke that you're wearing, I've seen lots of them where they've used that style of yarn in there, and then it ends up looking even more, like, it kind of ups the ante on the color work because you get that gradiated color change effect. So
and oftentimes if you have a gradiated yarn and you knit it by itself and you don't really like the look of it, if you put that in with a solid color and do some kind of either mosaic color work or even stripes, it'll really break up that gradient or that variegated yarn and really tone it down a lot. So like if it's too overwhelming just for a solid sweater in that, doing something like combining it with a solid color really will kind of bring it down a notch. So
okay, so that's all that I'm working on.
That's
well, that's not all that I'm working on.
I did
that's
spin.
all that
I did a little bit of spinning,
all that I actively worked on this week.
Yeah,
I'm working on
and I've got other things, but I haven't worked on them this week. So
anyway. I can't settle into something right now. I don't know. I sit there. I made a comment last week when we were talking about the video of all of the knitters that had sent in their photos and how it was nice to see that other knitters kind of sit in their little island and they have projects around them. Okay, my couch projects are like spreading out. There's more than there normally is. There's normally like a project on the go right in front of the couch, and then there's usually something in the basket. There might be something on the table. Well, now there's like things beside me on the couch, and it's kind of moving down the couch. So despite the fact that I'm sitting there thinking, I want to cast this on, I am telling myself now, okay, I have a lot of like really small projects that should be finished that are not in anyway finished. They're like in some small state of needing something to be finished. So I've made a promise to myself that I've got to get onto these things and at least finish something every week before I keep I've got to slow down on the cast on. I will run out of needles before I run out of yarn.
There you go. I'm trying to get my samples finished up for Little Red Min. So that gets me motivated to do those. And they're little projects. So that's nice, kind of.
Yeah.
I like to be able to finish something. So.
Yeah. But I go through, those are just seasons of knitting. That's what I call those, seasons of knitting. Sometimes I really just want to be a little bit more monogamous and work on something. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I want to like start to finish it. I want to get it done. But then or if I have a deadline, like deadline knitting, right? But then there's other times that the more creative part of me just says, nope, just keep casting on the things. If you see it, you like it, go get that yarn, go play with that yarn, get it in your hands. I'll come back to it. I mean, I eventually finish everything. It just, sometimes I don't know. That's just how I am.
I know I have things that I have to get back to and get finished. So
yeah, it is nice to have little small projects on the go too, though. But again, like there are nearly finished projects sitting there that I could finish. Even these socks, like after I did the first banner, I was having so much fun. I haven't done color work socks for a while. And I was having so much fun. I thought, oh, I don't want to stop. I want to go grab the next color and do February too. But nope, I'm not going to. I'm going to do something else.
So okay. Did you buy anything this week?
I did not.
No,
I did not. I like I said, I had twitchy fingers all week, but I don't know.
Yeah, I have lots of beautiful stuff that I already have to cast on. So, and I got to finish some things.
Yes.
So
I was thinking though that now we're into 2023. So now I'm like future thinking how much fun we're going to have. Here comes the second yawn of the night. We've got some events coming up that we're heading to this year. So we have Montreal in May. It's our first event. And then in July, we're going to, hopefully, if they have another one, we'll be going to meet the group in Chicago. So I'm looking forward to some knitty events. Mike asked me if we were going to go to Knit City, Vancouver this year. And I'm thinking, that sounds like encouragement to me. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Well, I think we are about at the end of our evening. It's been fun. It feels a little less chaotic than last week.
So just to recap, and someone had asked about how to enter, all of our knit-alongs are the ones that we discussed today will all be on Ravelry. I'll set up both a chat thread and a finished object thread. So that'll be for the sock knit-along, the Smash Your Stash knit-along, and the Burr Cowl knit-along. So those will all be in there, and we'll kind of go through them each week anyway, just to let you know what's going on. The first kind of goal deadline is the end of January for your socks. So the other ones are longer than that. So you've got lots of time to think about it and figure out what you want to do. But we'd love to see your projects in there. And and hope everybody casts on all those things that they said they were going to cast on for their New Year's cast on and gets working on them. And, just have fun with your knitting. So
yes, there were so many comments last week of what everybody was up to for New Year's, and it was a lot of fun to read through them. I know we weren't able to respond to them all. There were a lot last week, but
so
hopefully we'll move forward and we'll get back into the rhythm. Well, Noelle will get into the rhythm because she does most of the commenting.
So
okay.
Well, so
it was lovely to visit again.
It was. So we will see you all next week. So
Kelly's going to have a finish. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, everybody, take care. Have a great week and happy knitting.
Happy knitting.